I can hear the crescendo coming a mile away, just like in the movie V for Vendetta before he blows up the bell tower. Yes, some people have suffered and died from COVID and their pain is not lost or forgotten. But for the majority of this country, people's lives and businesses were shut down for the biggest and deployed political psyop ever unleashed on this country. A push by Antifa, BLM, and the radical left to completely erase our history and gut this country from the inside out. A race war was ignited to cause division among the people, distracting everyone from the events that are happening behind the scenes. While the world is distracted by these events, the ones that are awake know human and child trafficking networks are being dismantled all over the world. People are waking up to the fact Ghislaine Maxwell was the bigger fish than Jeffrey Epstein himself. The politicians, financial elite, princes, sports stars, rock stars, and many others who dined on terrorizing children in the sickest of ways on Epstein Island and other places. And on the other hand, we have declass dropping on a daily basis as the entire Russian narrative collapsed, and we know now beyond the shadow of a doubt that Obama and his cabinet of Spygate actors committed treason. Which hat will drop first? Will an arrest of an ex-president and his cabinet for treason wake up the world first, or will the arrest of ex-presidents, Hollywood elite, entertainers, etc. for the pedophilia? If you hate Trump, that's fine. But one thing that we can all get behind is the protection of our children from predators and people that get off on doing the most sickening things to them imaginable. One way or another, mass awakening will and is happening. These used to be conspiracy theories, but not anymore. Good evening, Woke fam. It's Scott here from Woke Societies. How's everybody doing tonight? What's going on? Let me know where you're all from. Let me know where you're all from. How's everyone doing tonight? It's gonna be an epic night. Epic night. I don't know if you guys noticed anything different, but I'm wearing a mask. POTUS said to wear a mask. So I am wearing a mask now. We're gonna get into this later, guys. We gotta laugh a little bit. But let me take this thing off real quick. 1 second. All right. I love trolling you guys. I can't help it. Everyone's freaking out. Everyone's freaking out about the mask. Everyone needs to calm the hell down. Seriously. We're going to talk about that at the end of the night. Hello, everybody. It's Scott here from Woke Societies. Like, share, comment, subscribe, tell everyone we are the news now. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Of course, we're going to laugh a little bit here at Woke Societies. That's what we do. Everyone, let me know where you're from and how you're all doing. It's going to be an epic episode. We're going to dive deep into this Judge Salas case. And I'm telling you guys, this person that went after her, he is deeply connected to some really, really crooked people. So thank you all for showing up tonight. You guys are fantastic. So while everyone's coming in, please give the episode a like and all that good stuff here. We're already at 843 current viewers. So that is fantastic. Thank you guys. What's up, Suki? I see you in there. I'm sure some of our other friends are in here too. I just don't see you. Thank you for all the mods for being here. And since I have everyone's attention now, we're almost at 1,000 viewers. I want to give a shout out to my sponsor. And if you guys have been noticing, I got my copy today. This is Flip City Magazine, America's Last Laugh. This is the magazine I've been promoting on this channel now for a while, and I absolutely love it. And you guys can see my favorite thing about it. See that big PC with the slash through it? Guaranteed PC free. This is made by two beautiful people out in California that pour their blood, sweat, and tears into this magazine. They are completely independent. And guys, this is like Mad Magazine on steroids. You can't get any better than this, and on top of it, you cannot beat the price. So when you go into the description below, you're gonna see a link there to Flip City. This will bring you right to their website, and then you can go there, you can check out all their cool concepts in the magazine, and when you click the link, it'll bring you to a nice page where you can buy the magazine. And right now, guys, it's $20 for a full year subscription. $5 a magazine. One magazine comes out every quarter, or you can get the single issue. And the best part is they now ship international as well. So this can go all over the world. I know people have been receiving them, and I know I've been hearing a lot of people comment back to me today saying they got it and they are so happy they got the physical copy. Guys, it's worth the money. Go to flipcitymag.com. Go subscribe. When you support my sponsors, you're supporting woke society. So thank you guys for getting that. And I'm going to remind everybody in the middle of the show when there's more people here to also go and check out flipcitymag.com. They're a fantastic product, fantastic people, and I have no problem with them being on this show and just supporting me this entire time. So all that good stuff. So yes, guys, we have a lot to cover. We're going to be doing some Q drops. We're going to be covering some declass and what I expect to come in the next 8 weeks, because POTUS laid it out for us. And there's something that Brian Cates dropped in a thread that I feel like is very important. And I'm going to read it only because people are freaking out that Trump is telling people to wear masks now. Get the hell over it, people. Don't be so upset. It literally changes nothing. All right, we're gonna give everyone just another minute here to gather around. We're at 1,000 people already. Thank you guys. Hit that like button, share, comment, all that good stuff. Check out the products too while you're out there. Everything's in the link. My brother just added the new defund the media hat, and I'm gonna be adding some more products to the store as soon as the show's over. Bruce from ESO Creative, the one that makes all the apparel, is also here. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you Pops Trophies for modding. Thank you Jojo. Thanking Anon the Hammer. Thank you guys. You guys are fantastic. All right. So real quick before we start, did you guys see this? Breaking 911 said today, President Trump signs executive order banning undocumented individuals from 2020 census. Count for the purpose of congressional representation. You guys see what's going on here? Trump ain't playing around. Trump is not playing around right now. He is making sure right now that this vote is going, it's not going to be corrupted at all. It's going to be by the books. There's going to be no question as to who is going to win this election. He's making sure right now that that's happening. And right now, if you're an illegal immigrant, you can't be on the census, and it cannot be counted towards, good illegal immigrants don't get to dictate House seats or Senate seats, voting abilities, or numbers. That's the sentence I was looking for. So there you go. Really, really good stuff. But we're going to start off with something funny again, as I always like to do, because if you guys haven't noticed, have you seen what's going on in Portland, Oregon right now? It's still a shit show over there. 52 plus days every single day of nonstop protesting. So I think it's a great place to live, and I believe Dan Scavino believes it is also a great place to live. So I'm going to play this video for you guys, and I'll see you on the other side of the intro. Take a watch.
Portland, Oregon is located in the northwestern United States, where the Willamette and Columbia rivers meet. Downtown Portland was built with pedestrians in mind, so you can easily walk the Central District to take in the city's architecture, parks, and fountains at your own pace. The heart of the city is the amphitheater on Pioneer Courthouse Square. It's the place everyone keeps coming back to after browsing galleries, shopping, and sightseeing. Do bring an umbrella because showers are very common, although there's plenty of sunshine to enjoy in the summer. This is also a great spot for people watching on a lazy afternoon. In the middle of all this natural beauty sits Portland. More than just a place to stop and smell the roses, this is a place to truly experience the laid-back atmosphere and splendor of the great Northwest.
Who's ready to move to Portland?
Thanks for tuning in to the land of the real. But it's like the Twilight Zone, the plan is surreal. It'll blow your mind when the plan is revealed. Bring it all to light, all the plans they conceal. Grab your flashlight, it's time to go down the rabbit hole. It's dark and hell is hot, dealing with satanic souls. The tide is turning, Patriots are now in control. Apply aggressive pressure right now until they fold. Stay woke, open up your eyes and keep them peeled. All they do is lie, realize not everything is real. Through Project Looking Glass, the future is revealed. Future proves past, but there won't be any deals. Woke society's fam, you know it's time to go. Grab your popcorn, sit back now, enjoy the show. Severe and non on the mic, so come on, enjoy the flow. The wave is rising and you know it's only gonna grow.
All right. wants to move to Portland after all that, huh? I certainly do. Nothing like a glorious confrontation first thing in the morning. Oh man, I'm feeling like a troll today, but I can't help it. Too much stuff I've been seeing on Twitter lately. I just cannot help myself. I'm gonna stay in my little corner and just be quiet and do my own thing. That's what I'm gonna be doing from now on. So, thank you all for joining again tonight. We're on Twitch. We're on D Live. We're on Periscope and YouTube. Thank you all for being out here. It's been a great time so far. So, let's get into the show, shall we? All right. So, the thing that I'm going to be focusing on the first half of the show is going to be this Judge Esther Salas story. And I wanted to cover this because it already feels like the mainstream media is already putting this on the back burner, and a lot of people are just whipping right through this as if it happened 3 weeks ago. So if you guys didn't hear about any of this, I'm going to go over the beginning of it, but the most important thing I want to go over is the man that attempted to kill her, who he was connected to, and how deep his connections go and what company it goes to, because it goes all the way back to a company that was going back and doing security for the Twin Towers on 9/11. Yep, I said it, YouTube. I said 9/11. So hopefully the stream will stay up. So let's start here, shall we? So ABC News said anti-feminist lawyer. And of course, ABC is going to start out with that narrative. They want to make sure you know the guy that shot at this person was anti-feminist lawyer, and that's going to be important in just a little bit. So anti-feminist lawyer identified as shooter who killed Judge Esther Salas' son, then self. So the suspect in the fatal shooting of a federal judge's son, who was an attorney that had a previous case in front of the judge, has been found dead. Law enforcement sources told ABC News the son of Judge Esther Salas was shot and killed, and her husband shot and injured in an attack at the family's New Jersey home on Sunday night. Salas was not hurt in the attack. Her son, Daniel Andar, 20, died. Francis Mack Womack, the mayor of North Brunswick, New Jersey, told ABC News. Salas' husband, Mark Anderall, is in critical but stable condition as of Monday morning, according to law enforcement sources. So this guy went up to the house, shot the son first through the heart, and then shot the husband, and then he bounced out. And I believe the judge Salas was in the basement when this happened. So this person came out. The suspect was a white man who wore a face covering and a FedEx uniform. Law enforcement, and no, people, was not Hillary Clinton. Law enforcement sources told ABC News, and he used an ordinary car to make a getaway. So he came in on a different vehicle, and he had a different getaway vehicle as well. This sounds to me like it was planned, and it was definitely a little bit more, I'm not going to say professional because we still don't know who the main target was, but it was definitely something that was thought of in advance and planned for. The suspect has now been identified as Roy Den Hollander, a Manhattan lawyer and self-described anti-feminist. Multiple law enforcement sources briefed on the case told ABC News, and the FBI confirmed. Den Hollander's body was discovered in a car by a municipal employee in the town of Rockland, New York, which is literally 40 minutes away from where I live. He died of an apparently self-inflicted gunshot wound, the sources said. New York State police were on scene and the FBI was called. A FedEx package addresses to Judge Salas was discovered in the car, sources said. FedEx spokesman Jim Mazalik said in a statement, "We are aware of the media," and all that stuff. So the son was shot through the heart, as we see here in the article, and it's a sad story. It's a really sad story. So that is how this all began. And this originally broke, I think, on Sunday night around 5 o'clock, and then Monday it was all over the news and the headlines were going crazy about this. So everyone was wondering, well, what the hell happened? Why did this happen? Why was this judge's house what was this hit about? Because it clearly looks like a hit job that was going on here, right? So we find out, literally, I think it was the next day, the suspect in deadly attack at home of judge in Bank Epstein case worked for private CIA. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. But on a Sunday morning, again, this says the alleged killer was identified as Roy Den Hollander, an anti-feminist lawyer whose lawsuit challenging a men-only draft in the U.S. military was being reviewed by Solas. The 72-year-old now deceased attorney had a grudge against his Russian ex-wife and appeared to be on a personal crusade against what he called feminazis. The media mostly knew him for his quixotic legal challenges to what he believed to be discrimination against men, like ladies' nights at bars. Yet some, like actresses and hashtag MeToo figure Rose McGowan, believe there is more to the story than unhinged old misogynist with terminal cancer going out in a blaze of violence and notoriety. Woo, there we go. Got that one out. So Yeah, so this guy was originally, the media was very like vague and just very vague with the details when the story came out. And then it started getting spun that this man was going after Judge Salas's husband, and for different reasons, because he was on some cases, there were some grudges with them, and he did not like this person, and he was going after the husband. This was the spin that I was originally seeing, but there is something else that is going on here. And we can see it also in this article. After all, the attack on Judge Salas's home happened just days. Look at this. Just days after she took on a lawsuit filed by Deutsche Bank investors over management's failure to turn down problematic customers like convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. So yes, this person right here, this judge, was the one that literally got handed a case as of July 15th and was going to be spearheading the investigation as far as being the judge with this case with Epstein and Deutsche Bank and all this money that was being moved around, all these money laundering activities. And Deutsche Bank was pretty much allowing the accounts to stay open, allowing the money to flow through all the accounts he had. And on top of it, they weren't monitoring the money at all. So this judge was handed this case and she was going to be the one overseeing it. So you want to tell me right now, with everything going on with Ghislaine Maxwell, and do you think the person went after the husband because of an anti-feminism agenda? I don't believe so, but it gets even crazier from here. So this is from the New York Post. More information on Royden Hollander here, who allegedly stormed a North Brunswick, New Jersey home, which we just talked about. After his death, the FBI contacted New York Judge Janet DeFori to report that her name and photo were found in Hollander's car. The New York Times reported Monday the agents did not specify if they believe DeFori was a possible target. But authorities are also investigating a possible link to the shooting of attorney Mark Angelucci, who was shot at his California home earlier this month, allegedly by a man dressed in a Federal Express uniform, the outlet said. Hollander even wrote about his revenge fantasies and cancer diagnosis in an online screed. I'm assuming that meant creed. Death's hand in on my left shoulder. Nothing in this life matters anymore, he wrote in a rambling manifesto. The only problem with a life lived too long under feminazi rule is that a man ends up with so many enemies he can't even the score with all of them. Now, I'm new to the game here, as far as being woke, as far as this entire Q world, as far as all these conspiracy theories, and I'm not even saying it. I guess you could say, let's put conspiracy theories in quotes here. These manifestos are the same kind of manifestos that end up on 8kun or 4chan, 8chan. We saw these before, and we all call these these events. I'm not going to say the actual words. The F events, the F flag events. Yeah, I'm sure you guys can figure out what I'm saying. The fact that he was writing this and he put feminazi again is just, I think that is, again, I think this was some kind of event, that this was the excuse to take attention off of the Epstein stuff, because none of the media wants to touch the fact that this judge took over the case for Epstein and Deutsche Bank and how important this is. We're going to get into all that in just a moment. But on top of it, this man he had cancer. He was diagnosed with cancer. He wasn't going to live much longer, so he went on a killing spree. And this person that he killed in California was a big lawyer who just delivered a huge blow to the defense, whatever case he was covering, and he was killed literally the next day in his home in the same exact way, the same MO, the same modus operandi, the same way that this hit job that took place in New Jersey. So what the hell is going on here? And on top of it, we have Catherine Heritage here. I don't know what she's been doing lately. She's been dropping great declass, but this news dropped around 10 in the morning, I believe. And then literally this was at like 4 o'clock. Yeah, 3:55. The gunman is on the loose. The judge was unhurt. Officials do not know who the target was. The FBI and the U.S. Marshal Service, along with other agencies, are involved in a large manhunt and investigation. This confused the hell out of me because I hate deleting tweets. I hate putting out false information. It kills me. So I'm going into this. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I know, just being out here in New York locally, we had heard that state troopers had found the car with a gunshot wound to his head. He killed himself. And that was already taken care of, done, in the books. And then this came out, and it just looked like the fake news was just throwing more monkey wrenches into the lot here. And it was just, I don't know what was going on with it. Don't know. But it confused the hell out of me. But either way, my whole entire point of telling you guys this is that there was a clear path that mainstream media was trying to drive people to go down, and it had nothing to do with Epstein at all. And again here, this is from Newsweek. Judge Esther Salas assigned to Epstein Deutsche Bank case 4 days before husband and son were shot. So you tell me what this is really about. You tell me. So I want to give a quick shout out to Thinking Anon. Sean, I know you're out there. You gave me some beautiful, beautiful articles to put all this together. So I'm going to put one of them up here right now. This is from the Unlimited Hangout, and this is where we're going to hang out just for a little bit. Because this goes deep, guys. This goes really deep into what this guy was connected to and what I really think is going on here. And this is what you will not get from the mainstream media. So, alleged Salas family assailant previously worked for U.S./Israeli intelligence linked firm. And who's that signal? Most likely Mossad. So the alleged gunman who killed the son of Esther Salas, the judge recently assigned to the Epstein Deutsche Bank case, worked for a company of corporate spies and mercenaries with ties to intelligence and also to Deutsche Bank. And this Deutsche Bank, ladies and gentlemen, this has got to be like a criminal hub of banks. Because it seems like there's more than just the people that hung out with Epstein that go through this bank. This bank has been fined billions of dollars because of all the shady stuff they're doing, and they get fined. I think they were on some kind of list, and they were like in the top 3 for most fined banks because all the shady stuff they do. But you're going to see exactly why right now. So the news of the shooting of the husband and son of Esther Salas, the judge recently assigned to oversee the Jeffrey Epstein Deutsche Bank case, caused shock and confusion while also bringing renewed scrutiny to the Epstein scandal just a week after Epstein's main co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, was denied bail in a separate case. The case Salas is set to oversee is a class action lawsuit brought by Deutsche Bank investors who allege the Deutsche Bank failed to properly monitor customers that the bank itself deemed to be high risk, including, among others, the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The case came after the New York State Department of Financial Services had settled with Deutsche Bank over the bank's failure to cut ties with Epstein-linked accounts, resulting in Deutsche Bank paying a $150 million fine. Deutsche Bank, unlike other financial institutions, failed to close all of its accounts linked to Epstein until less than a month prior to his arrest last year, even though the bank had identified him as a high risk years before. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Epstein was already labeled a child sex offender back, I think it was in 2007. He did get hit with a charge, but whatever happened in Florida, they pretty much let the man walk out of jail and go to his home, pretty much did whatever the hell he wanted to. And they knew this, but they still allowed this stuff to go on. And this is why they're being investigated right now. And on top of it, they got slapped with a $150 million fine. So you can see what kind of stuff they're dabbling in. And really, a month before he gets arrested, this is when you start closing accounts. Super, super shady. So with law enforcement sources now claiming that Esther Salas was not the intended target of the attack, and some media reports now suggesting that Den Hollander's motive was related to his dislike of feminism, which I'm not buying for a minute, it appears there are efforts underway to distance Sunday's tragic shooting from Salas' recent assignment to the Epstein case, which occurred just 4 days before the tragic shooting. The most likely reason for any such damage control effort lies in the fact that both the U.S. law enforcement investigations and mainstream media reports have consistently downplayed the connections of Jeffrey Epstein's sexual trafficking and financial crimes to intelligence agencies in the U.S., and look at this, and Israel. That's important. Similarly, Roy Den Hollander previously worked for a New York firm, has been described as a private CIA with ties to those countries, intelligence agencies, and also ties to Deutsche Bank. This is what the mainstream media will not touch, and a lot of channels don't touch this as well because people don't realize that one Q drop. It always sits in the back of my head. They are going to save Israel for last. Now, why is that? Well, this is going to paint some kind of a picture for people. Look at what these guys were involved with. They were a private CIA. According to his website, Den Hollander once worked for Kroll Associates' Moscow office, where he managed and upgraded Kroll's delivery of intelligence and security in the former Soviet Union from 1999 to 2000. A few years prior, Kroll had won a considerable bid from the Russian government to locate money allegedly spirited out by the country by the directors of state enterprises when they realized that privatization was inevitable. The Kroll executives in charge of the Russian portfolio prior to Den Hollander were E. Norbert Garrett, a former CIA station chief in Cairo and Kuwait, and Joseph Rossetti, former chief of security for IBM. During that period and prior to his hiring at Kroll, Den Hollander worked as a lawyer in Russia regarding legal and business issues, including international financing and marketing, and married a Russian woman he met during his time there that he subsequently claimed was part of the Russian mafia. And founded by Jules Kroll in 1972, Kroll Associates would later become known as the CIA of Wall Street and Wall Street's private eye, and was alleged to be an actual front for the CIA by French intelligence agencies, according to the Washington Post. Part of the reason for this nickname, which was once boasting point for a top Kroll executives, owes to the fact that the firm frequently hired former CIA and FBI officers, as well as former members of MI6 and Mossad. K2 Intelligence, the successor to Kroll Associates founded by Jules Kroll and his son Jeremy in 2009, has similar hiring practices, counting former FBI and NSA officials among its ranks alongside former high-ranking members of the Israel Defense Forces and Shin Bet, Israel's domestic intelligence agency. Kroll also boasted ties to the Bush family, with Jonathan Bush serving on its corporate advisory board, and Kroll was also employed by Bill Clinton's first presidential campaign. So we have ties to the Clintons, and we also have ties to Bush, and they're all tied up with CIA, ex-FBI, and ex-NSA, and Israel's domestic intelligence agency. This is who Kroll was in bed with. This is what I came across. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And this man worked for them for at least a year. And you're going to tell me, and he even married a woman that he thought was part of the Russian mafia. So you're going to sit here and tell me that he didn't know any of this stuff that was going on. But it gets even crazier. Though it is mainly involved in corporate security and investigations, Kroll has also frequently investigated targets of Washington foreign policy, including Saddam Hussein, and was also the company tapped to reorganize Enron in 2002. Kroll Associates also has long been a subject of scrutiny for those that question the official narrative on the attacks of September 11th, 2001, given that the company was put in charge. This is the same company was put in charge of security for the World Trade Center complex from 93, bombing up through the 2001 attacks, and has no shortage of ties to companies and individuals that profited from the attacks. Kroll itself experienced a surge in business following the events of 9/11, a day when its top executives all avoided going to work despite ostensibly providing security for the complex. This same Kroll, guys, this Kroll organization was in charge of the security for the World Trade Centers up until the bombings in September 11, 2001. And remember those stories of how those executives, all on the same day, they didn't show up for work? And the ones that profited off this were the ones that just coincidentally did not go into work that day, stayed home, and they all lived and they cashed in. This is the same organization that this person is involved with that went after this judge. Insane. A similar surge in business for Kroll followed the 2003 U.S. invasion of Iraq, after the company's investigations into Saddam Hussein's and the Ba'ath Party's finances has been used as partial justification for the military incursion. Kroll became a major provider of mercenaries, along with companies like Blackwater and DynCorp, to the U.S. invasion and subsequent occupation through its subsidiary Kroll Security International. Its clients include the United States Agency for International Development, which long has been fronted for the CIA and also provided mercenaries for the war in Afghanistan. This is just insane, guys. And this is how he's tied up with Epstein. So, aside from Kroll Associates' own role as a private intelligence firm, it is worth pointing out that Jules Kroll had an odd meeting with Robert Maxwell. And again, this is the whole entire story of how Robert Maxwell died. He supposedly fell off a building, and that's how the story went, but you know how those go. The article further notes that the meeting broke up with Maxwell's promising that he would send Kroll what he called a memorandum of suspicions and unexplained events. Maxwell was working on this compendium, it said the anonymous participant in the meeting. When he met his death, Kroll Associates was never formally hired. So Ghislaine Maxwell's father was hiring Kroll to look and go after people that were coming after Robert Maxwell himself. This was earlier on. So when I see Robert Maxwell come up with Kroll Associates, and you're thinking what's going on with Ghislaine Maxwell, and then this guy goes after this judge that is going to oversee Epstein's money movements in this Deutsche Bank. Can we put one and one together here for a little bit? I think we can, because it gets even crazier. Much more recently, Kroll came under scrutiny after being hired by a disgraced media mogul, Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein hired them alongside the private Mossad for hire firm Black Cube. Weinstein has been instructed to hire Black Cube by Ehud Barak, the former Israeli military intelligence head and Israeli prime minister with close ties to Jeffrey Epstein and a frequent visitor of Epstein's residences. So we have Israeli ties now to Epstein. Weinstein hired Kroll to harass and cyberstalk women who had accused him of sexual assault. Weinstein was a one-time business partner of Jeffrey Epstein's, and the testimony of Epstein victim Maria Farmer strongly implies that Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein shared women and potentially underage girls with the film producer. The Daily Beast later reported that Epstein had used his ties to Weinstein to impress and recruit potential victims, and at least one of those victims landed a role in a film produced by a Weinstein-owned company due to Epstein's ties to Weinstein. In addition, Kroll's longtime executive vice president for operations, James Buckman, was previously chief advisor to former FBI director Louis Freach and is now CEO of the Freach Group. Free has since become notorious for having been hired by Epstein associate lawyer Alan Dershowitz to investigate the Epstein scandal and was also involved in the cover-up of the Penn State child molestation and abuse scandal. Holy crap. There are connections everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Free was also a director of the FBI when the Bureau declined to investigate accusations regarding Les Wexner, the owner and CEO of Victoria's Secret, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, and their involvement in the sex trafficking of minors, first reported to the FBI in '96 by Maria Farmer, and the FBI let it go. This is crazy. This is crazy. Now, one last thing in this article, we're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein's links to this Deutsche Bank because it ties it all together. Jeffrey Epstein's ties to Deutsche Bank go back decades and potentially earlier. After working for Bear Stearns earlier in his career and then a so-called financial bounty hunter with ties to intelligence-linked arms dealers and Wall Street, Epstein set up a Ponzi scheme with Steve Hoffenberg called Tower Financial, which collapsed in '93 and subsequently landed Hoffenberg 20 years in prison. Epstein's name, despite being a clear co-conspirator, was suspiciously dropped from the case during the trial. Hoffenberg subsequently alleged that Epstein used his ill-gotten gains from Tower Financial alongside a series of suspect loans from Deutsche Bank to create his investment company. And the last thing, however, the bank did not fully terminate their relationship with Epstein until June of 2019. And the ties that bind all this together, as the heinous act targeting the Solas family has shown, individuals with a lot to lose are willing to go to the farthest extremes to keep the ties of Epstein to the financial sector and to intelligence out of sight and out of mind. Indeed, just last December, Epstein's personal banker at Deutsche Bank, Thomas Bowers, the chief of Deutsche Bank's private wealth management division in New York, was found dead in his home. His death was quickly ruled a suicide. Shocker. And while some have been quick to point out that Trump, as well as his son-in-law Jared Kushner, could stand to lose from potential revelations of the Epstein-Deutsche Bank trial, there are other key power brokers to this entire thing. We have the Clinton White House, Dershowitz, and Olson is intimately involved. So we have some major players here. And on top of it, don't forget, we have Forrester Day Rothschild also tied into all of this. So it arguably remains one of the key components of the Epstein scandal, yet the most poorly understood and most under-investigated, if anything, the tragic events at the Salas family home on Sunday and what appears to be a rapid yet shoddy cover-up of the shooter's ties to Kroll associates and actual motives reveal that Epstein's financial ties are more frightening to certain powerful individuals and institutions than his trove of sexual blackmail. Can you guys hear the crescendo coming a mile away? This is why I entitled the stream this. Ghislaine Maxwell knows all of these connections more than Epstein probably ever could. Ghislaine and Epstein both were part of Mossad. They have ties with Israeli intelligence, and who knows who he was blackmailing for, the CIA, the Mossad, who knows? There is so much to this and so many people tied up in this, and people are wondering why Ghislaine Maxwell's case isn't until next year. All of this stuff, we don't know if it's already laid out already or still to be discovered. But if it's coming out like this and articles like this, you know something's going down. And it's going down very quick. And it's something to be excited about. And just to bring out, again, True Pundit here talking about that private banker that killed himself, the one that was directly working, the personal banker of Epstein. I covered this story when it came out. And this came out in December of last year. And he killed himself on Thanksgiving Day, supposedly hanging from a rope in his kitchen or whatever it was. This was clearly after Epstein killed himself. Why did he kill himself? We'll never know. We might find out. We'll have to wait and see. And it's not just all these bankers too that are all these people that end up dying. Here we are from Zero Hedge. Beer Countess who flew Epstein's Lolita Express 32 times quits child protection charity. We have a person here. This is the wife of British aristocrat and frequent flyer on Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express, has stepped down for her role for volunteering for volunteering for the UK's National Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Children. How ironic is that? A person that frequently hung out with Epstein and Ghislaine was in charge of the UK's National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. You see how they hide right in front of us, and her name is Claire Hazel. She's an interior designer who became a Countess of Eve after her 2001 marriage to the 4th Earl of Guinness of the Brewing Dynasty. And now she has stepped down. Did she step down because she's under investigation? Is she being questioned? I have no idea. I have no idea. We're going to have to wait and see because things are getting spicy. So let me just hop over to the chat real quick. We're at 2,300 viewers already. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that like button for me. And if you guys can for me, the ones that didn't see the promo in the beginning, check out flipcitymag.com. They're on my main screen right now. Go check them out. Go check out the link to their subscription. It's a wonderful magazine. Please go there right now and subscribe. It's only $20 the entire year. It's fantastic. Go check out flipcitymag.com. All right, so there was one person that weighed in on all this, and you guys didn't hear it today because besides the whole mask wearing thing, which we're going to get into at the end of the episode, President Trump was asked about Ghislaine Maxwell. So I just want to see what you got, your guys' reaction to the question that was asked here. Let's take a watch and let's see what happens.
Then if it spends by the time you get it back, it's 3 or 4 days if they do an efficient job. We're trying to get the testing on site.
Thank you.
I like it the best.
And my follow-up, my second question, it's a little bit different topic, but it's one that a lot of people are talking about. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not aware of it.
Mr. President.
On unemployment insurance.
He knows damn well what's going on. You can see it in his face. He knew Maxwell. He knew Epstein. He was hanging out with them a little bit back in the day. He was, but it doesn't mean he was involved in any of the shit that they were doing. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Even we all see the pictures that the trolls throw around and all that stuff, but it is what it is. But he said, I wish her well, whatever it is. To me, that's saying they either got everything out of her already, and whatever happens to her, whatever, it is what it is. That wasn't a good I wish her well. Let's just put it that way. So it's really funny to see. But this is the one hand, right? This is the one hand of the maestro. Now we're going to go to the other hand of the maestro and talk about this crescendo that I keep bringing up. So we have from the New York Post, the FBI knew collusion was a nothing burger, but kept fake scandal alive anyway. This article came out yesterday, and it says, I'm sorry for the white background with the green here. My night eye did not show up on this page. It is what it is. But it says, we have not seen evidence of any individuals affiliated with the Trump team in contact with Russian intelligence officers. How much wasted time on pointless investigations could have been prevented had Peter Strzok been one of the FBI's top counterintelligence officials who were spearheading the Bureau's Trump-Russia investigation, said this publicly 1 month into the President Trump's team. But no, it was a private note by Strzok for consumption within the FBI to debunk a February 14th, 2017. Here we go. New York Times article, which they did get Pulitzer Prizes for. Remember that. The news story, a compilation by 5 of the Times' top reporters working for unnamed sources, the usual current and former American officials, claim that the members of the Trump campaign had repeated contacts with the Russian intelligence officials. And again, this was false. Just as important, the FBI knew it was false. But we, the American people, only know that now in 2020 because Strzok's notes were finally made public on Friday. all of this time, literally, and it's not even that many pages. It's maybe a few pages of notes that we could have literally just been handed over, and this entire thing would have been put out. All of Schiff's investigations, all his stupid press briefings, the entire Mueller investigation. The FBI knew it was false, but they continued to push the FISA warrants and go after Carter Page and Trump and General Flynn and everybody. They still pushed it. They are beyond screwed. And this is why it keeps getting better. It keeps getting better, and we have to stay positive because I keep seeing articles like this and I can't help but get jittery. This is from the Gateway Pundit. U.S. Attorney John Durham is in negotiations with some people on guilty pleas in Russia collusion scandal. And this was, it looks like an interview here. This is Hemmer. John Durham, when will there be news on that? And Kupek said, well, we hope to see a report by the end of the summer. Obviously, this is a criminal investigation. The goal is not a report, which I've been telling everybody on here. This isn't going to be like the IG Horowitz report. This is going to be, we're going to find out people are in cuffs and they've been arrested. That's how we're going to find out. But certainly there is a story to be told here. The American people deserve resolution, and frankly, justice deserves resolution. And as far as where he says here, he says, I do not know that they are, and he says, I do know that they are negotiations with some people for some guilty pleas. So it may very well be that some guilty pleas occur initially at the same time that the report is issued. They may piggyback those together simultaneously, but he is hearing that there's already some guilty pleas that are being negotiated right now. Now, don't want to get everyone's expectations up. What I always say to myself, hope for the best and expect the worst, because how many times have our expectations been let up? I know when I joined this movement, I was all about the arrest, all about that stuff, and I got disappointed. But since then, starting this channel and getting more mature into it, I guess, I just learned not to get my hopes up anymore. Let it play out like it's supposed to play out, and it all will work out. And we'll just have to go from there. But it's not just the people that should be worried right now that are already taking these guilty pleas. We're already seeing Adam Schiff being spooked because he's being completely left in the dark about the Durham investigation. And this is from TruePundit.com. And it says, how Attorney General William Barr may yet unleash the power of the Justice Department has House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff unnerved. The California Democrat invoked U.S. Attorney, let me get this stupid out of here, John Durham, who is conducting a criminal inquiry of the federal Russia investigation, as he discussed his dread that more serious abuse of federal law enforcement will happen in the coming days. And one of the concerns, this is Schiff talking. One of the concerns I have with Bill Barr is that the worst is yet to come. I mean, he's got a terrible destructive track record as it is, and it may get worse in the coming days, Schiff said in a recent episode of the Talking Feds podcast. But what we have seen largely is Barr's intervention to protect the president. The same narrative, same talking line that we've been seeing for a long time now. As examples, Schiff mentioned Barr's rollout of a special counsel Robert Mueller's report and intervention in cases spun off from the Russia investigation to help Trump's cronies, such as Roger Stone and Michael Flynn. He still thinks these people are innocent. Roger Stone, what it is. I'm more concerned about Michael Flynn. That man is an American hero. He was let off, and he should be. And I can't wait for him to get back on the campaign trail. But whereas Schiff is spooked by being kept in the dark about Durham's work, his Republican counterpart on the House Intelligence Committee views this as a good sign. And it is a good sign. The one good thing so far we've learned about this Durham investigation is that Durham isn't talking. People on his team aren't talking. California Representative Devin Nunes said during a Fox interview that last month, I think that's a good sign that this is a real, legitimate investigation that's occurring. And that is always a good thing about any investigation, and that it's still tight. There's no leaks. There's no random reports coming out of New York Times saying U.S. officials said this, and it's just blatant lies. There has literally been nothing that has come out from Durham or any of his entire team on this entire investigation. This thing is on lock. And that is a very good reason, especially if you're somebody like Adam Schiff that's been tied up into all this. I don't know. You tell me, guys. You tell me. And it's not just Adam Schiff, guys, because also, if you guys didn't hear, this is from OAN. Kim Freethinker breaking Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden is formally being listed as a criminal suspect by high-level Ukraine government officials in a major case involving his son Hunter. So again, we have this going on. And what is Joe Biden talking about? I'll show you what Joe Biden's talking about. He's talking about how he wishes they taught more Islamic faith in our schools. Yes, this is happening.
Thank you for taking the time for watching today. Look, one of the things I think is important, I wish we taught more in our schools about the Islamic faith. I wish we...
Was Ilhan Omar there with the cards behind the camera? Biden, you can tell these aren't even his thoughts. He's just being told what to read at this point. He can't even talk. But you want to talk about this garbage as the more Islamic faith in our schools, which I have nothing against the Islamic faith. I have nothing against Muslims at all. I have nothing against any religion, any people. Nothing against anybody. What you believe in, whatever. But you have this man here talking about this while the report here is Joe Biden is formally being listed as a suspect by high-level Ukrainian government officials, and it is involving his son Hunter. And by the way, where is Hunter? Where's he at? I haven't seen him in a while. He's still on that milk jug somewhere. But it's really funny. Do you guys see this crescendo that I keep talking about is building up? It's building up. It's starting to boil up a little bit, and it's coming from all fronts. This is what we've been waiting for. We have been waiting for this. So things are going to get very, very interesting. So what I want to tie up here, let's go to the Q drops. I want to cover those because those are super interesting, and I want to also go into Trump's little talk about wearing masks. I'm going to get into that too. So let's see where we can begin with the Q drops here. So I'm going to start here with 4603. Rampant domestic spying by the Obama administration are Republican candidates, journalists, House, Senate. How many Republican 2016 candidates were illegally surveillanced? Journalists, House members, Senate members, upstream collection. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't just the president that was spied on. There are drops out there. I don't know if it's drops plural or one drop referencing Ted Cruz was also being spied on. It's not just Trump. This is why, in my mind, if there is not justice served this time around, I don't know if there will ever be more of a time to serve someone justice for the things they have done. This is beyond. This is unprecedented what's going on. Completely unprecedented. And Q continues to talk. 702, non-702, five-eyed, non-five-eye, spy insert campaign, renegade, a person who deserts and betrays an organization, country, or set of principles. And Q gives some synonyms to the word renegade, and they list them here. And we all know that Obama's code name, whatever name, Secret Service name, was renegade. So put two and two together, shall we? 4604, batten down the hatches. This is Q talking about a military gunship again with a video coming out here. We've seen this, the AC-130 gunship. When Q lights up a target, they destroy it, and that's what's going on right now. And it's a very simple Q drop, really nothing to get in the way of that. Now, this is where it gets interesting. 4605 and 4606, the portrait of FBI Director Chris Wray. And literally the next picture over it is a snapshot that Q took of an anon with the same picture of Chris Wray with the red X drawn through his face. Now this tells me that Wray was not the person that we all thought he was. He's a sleeper, but he wasn't the good kind. Wray also sat on a bunch of notes by Peter Strzok that he was just slowly releasing. And I don't know why at this point. But to me, it seems like Wray, this entire time, was also part of the problem. And again, this is why Q keeps saying the swamp runs deep. And I know some people are really upset about Wray. But this is my take on that. This entire situation, I know people out there right now, they have characters in their heads. All these people in their heads that they think are good and they think they're bad. But as more and more information comes out, and we don't know everything, we're still getting information to this day right now. We have to be fluid in these situations. Wray being a sleeper and not the person we thought he was, and people are upset about it, it's going to happen. We have to be fluid. We have to transition with how the information comes out, and we have to try to keep our emotions out of it for the most part and not get it too attached to people, because it's going to cause us to either report false information, cause us to think the wrong way, and all that good stuff. But from what I'm seeing right now, Wray is going to be out, and he's X'd out according to this Q drop. And what's even more interesting than this, 4607, comms between Q and General Flynn. Are you ready to serve once again? And you can see the 3 stars right there. That to me is in reference to General Flynn. This is not some crazy, insane decode. This is to me just common sense. Are you ready to serve once again? And as we scroll up here, 4608, General Flynn acknowledged Q by changing his Twitter banner to God Bless America. It says acknowledged, God Bless America. And then right after that, 4609, Q writes, Anons have a rival. And Q writes, Anons take note, you have a rival. Now, I don't know if this was a misspelling, but to me, I think this should have been one word, but Q wrote it the way they wanted to. This is my personal opinion. Let's go to the tweet that Q linked here. This is from Dancing Patriot. Q post asking, are you ready to serve once again? Flynn changes his banner to God Bless America. Q then responds, acknowledge, God Bless America. And you can see it here. And there's been some talk about when he actually made this change. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty about this. It's really, to me, it's not important with the time. 4610, it's right here. Flynn uploads his Twitter header at 11:42 p.m. Eastern Time, July 19th. And I guess it's just one big Q proof at this point. But my whole thing is this, guys. To me, General Flynn's been reactivated. We're not sure what he's going to do, but how much of a Trump situation would it be that he would make General Flynn the new FBI director after everything he has gone through? Can you imagine making him the head of the FBI, the same organization that completely trashed his life, ruined his family's life, ruined his name? At the time, his name is being cleared up now all over the place. But the organization that went after you, and now you're going to head that organization. I don't know if he's qualified to run the FBI. I don't know anything about that. But either way, I think that would be the most epic thing that Trump could do, just to slap the deep face in the deep state right in the face. I think that would be fantastic. What do you guys think? Do you think, I've even seen people saying he's going to run for vice president. I don't know about that. That seems to me a little bit too crazy, but he is going to be somewhere in there. And the fact that Q says it's acknowledged, and they also say here you have a rival, I think that's supposed to be one word, arrival. General Flynn is going to be activated at any point, and it's going to be made public when that happens. And I cannot wait to see this man speak in public and just let it all out as much as he's legally allowed to do. It's going to be fantastic. Now, to wrap up the show tonight, I want to talk about something real quick. This picture right here, along with the press conference today. Donald Trump's wrote here, we are united in our effort to defeat the invisible China virus. Everyone say hi to my son. We are united in our effort to defeat the invisible China virus, and many people say that it is patriotic to wear a face mask when you can't socially distance. There is nobody more patriotic than me, your favorite president. And if you guys didn't notice, my Trump back here, I put a mask on him. I put a mask on him to troll some of the guys, some of the people that are in here that are upset about Trump wearing a mask, people that are on Twitter upset that Trump's wearing a mask and telling people that if you can't social distance, wear a damn mask. Guys, you have to look at the bigger picture here. Trump wearing a mask literally means nothing. Means nothing. He's worn a mask before. He just has not worn one in the public that often. He's worn them in hospitals. He's gone to military hospitals and worn them. He just has not done it as much in the public. And everyone's freaking out right now saying that he's wearing a mask now. Wear one if you can't socially distance. My advice to everybody that's out there, if you don't want to wear a mask, nobody is forcing you to wear a mask. Now, I know some states right now are handing out fines for not doing that. That's different. I don't deal with that out here on the East Coast in New York as of yet. But literally, if you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear one. If you do, do it. Does it change anything? And this is why I keep saying this. How many times has Q said to us in the most recent drops when they started talking about COVID? Remember how Q wasn't talking about COVID for months? and then all of a sudden they just started to. What's the one question that Q keeps asking over and over and over and over again? Is this about the virus or is this about the election? And it's a very obvious answer. It's about the election. And to me, when I saw this, when I heard that Trump said everyone wear a mask, the first thought in my mind was, this is great. You want to know why? Because the argument for mail-in ballots goes right out the window. Goes right out the window. If people can protest, people can destroy cities, they can certainly go out and wear a mask to vote. To vote. The mail-in ballot push narrative is exactly what the Dems want. It's what the deep state wants. It's what China wants. It's what everyone in the world that's against Trump wants, because they know the only way they're going to slip this by, get Trump out of the way, is if they cheat. And how are they going to cheat? It's going to be mail-in ballots. My whole thought about this is this narrative gets crushed right now. Trump's telling his followers, his support followers, to wear masks. And at the same time, if the left operates as they normally have been, the mask should be canceled, right? If Trump wants it, the left will cancel it. So the thing is, guys, you have to keep things in perspective. Why does Q keep asking about this? This virus is all about the election. This virus shit is going to probably stop right around after the election is over. This re-election, this entire situation is about Trump getting reelected. After he gets reelected, there is no holding Trump back after that. He does not have to worry about getting reelected in his second term. He can scorch earth as much as he wants, and he can leave with no regrets. And if he was in that situation right now, and COVID was happening right now, I can guarantee you this entire mask thing would be put to bed, and nobody would be talking about it. So that's where I'm at with it. And I want to leave you guys on a good note. I really do. I like to leave on a good note, and I'm going to go and end on a Brian Cates thread here. Everyone, look forward to the next 8 weeks. Why 8 weeks? Well, this is why. From Brian Cates. In the next several tweets, I'll show you something fascinating, and here is just a little printout of his schedule. During that Rose Garden press conference on Friday afternoon, the president said something incredibly interesting things towards the end. Please listen to what the president revealed as carefully as you can. The president revealed on Friday afternoon that today, this Tuesday, July 21st, signaled the kickoff of an 8-week plan for which he has been carefully preparing for, checks card, 3.5 years now. And it all starts with the memorandum he signs in the Oval Office at 12:15 p.m. Things nobody has even contemplated. This is Trump talking. It's going to be very exciting 8 weeks. Can honestly say nobody has ever seen 8 weeks like we're going to have. They've been working on these things for 25 to 30 years, so I think we'll start sometime on Tuesday. They can't say he didn't warn them, huh? Okay, what's this memorandum is going to say? Nobody knows, because the Trump administration OPSEC is fantastic and it hasn't leaked yet. There's 6 to 7 things off the top of my head that it could be about. Federal units to failing blue Dem cities, which he's already starting to do. Antifa, BLM, foreign actors in the insurrection. School openings, CCP virus sanctions, infrastructure package, DOJ investigations, Ukraine, Biden's. And it all started today. We have 8 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, that Trump has been planning things for 3.5 years to drop, and they are coming literally starting this week. What's it going to be about? I'm not sure, but I'm telling you, this is why I keep bringing up the crescendo. The theme of this stream, this crescendo that I keep talking about. We have Ghislaine Maxwell, we have Spygate, and now we have this 8 weeks of just amazing things that Trump supposedly has that's going to be rolling out, along with everything else that's going on. And people worrying that Trump said to wear masks. Who gives a shit? Seriously, who cares? Who cares? All right. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'm sure I triggered somebody. So we're at 2,200 viewers. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hit that like button for me. What do you guys think about that dig with the guy that's attached to Mossad, Russia Mafia, all these terrible, terrible things? We got Spygate actors being thrown on the bus. We got Peter Strzok. What's he gonna possibly say? What's he going to say when this entire thing this unravels? What's he have to say? Why were you sitting on these notes, Peter? Why did you keep pushing? Because your boss Obama wanted you to take this man down so bad, and you guys had the balls enough to think that you would never get caught. How else would you explain that you were that sloppy? How? It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really, really good, and I'm so excited for it to happen. So, yes, Friday Girl, a lot is happening. A lot is happening. So yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. It's been a solid stream. And thank God I have this, because I would need a professional therapist if I didn't have this channel to talk about all this stuff. I really would. I really would. So thank you to the mods out there. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for keeping this stream sexy as you always do. Keeping the trolls out. And Todd, yes, I did see real quick. Let me read your, this was a little scary. My brother sent me this tweet. This is from Twitter Safety. Let me see if I could actually bring it up here, because this is very concerning. This is very concerning. Anytime you see a tweet from Twitter Safety. This came out at 8 o'clock, so if my computer loads it up, it might be a little slow. So we've been clear that we will take strong enforcement action on behavior that has the potential to lead to offline harm. In line with this approach, this week we are taking further action on so-called, in quotes, QAnon activity across the service. We will permanently suspend accounts tweeting about these topics that we know are engaged in violations of our multi-account policy, coordinating abuse around individual victims, or attempting to evade a previous suspension, something we've seen more of in recent weeks. In addition, we will no longer serve content and accounts associated with QAnon and trends and recommendations, work to ensure we're not highlighting this activity in search and conversations, block URLs associated with QAnon from being shared on Twitter, and they're already doing that now. QMap.pub, you cannot put it on Twitter. It goes to a dead link. These actions will be rolled out comprehensively this week. We will continue to review this activity across our service and update our rules and enforcement as necessary, and as we work at scale to protect the public. As we work at scale to protect the public conversation in the face of evolving threats, we'll continue to lead with transparency. We will continue to lead with transparency and offer more context on our efforts. Guys, we're in the middle of a war right now. We are in the middle of a war, and the best part about that right there, Twitter Safety, guess what Twitter Safety just did? They just put the world on notice. They just let everyone know what QAnon is. You bunch of idiots. They can't stop us all. They can't stop us all. So be careful out there. Be careful what you tweet. Do not ever incite violence. That is not what this movement's about at all. We already know that. We don't need a pep talk about that. We just need to be the awesome people, the awesome family that we already are. So you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. So on your way out, check out my sponsor, flipcitymag.com. Go subscribe there, and on your way out as well, go check out my store. It's not just supporting my channel. You're supporting 2 local businesses in New York that make the products all in America, all American-made products. Really good stuff. So go check it out. Like, share, subscribe. Tell everyone in your family that we are the news now. You guys are great. My next episode will be out on Thursday, so be on the lookout for that and all that good stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button on your way out. Check out my store and subscribe to the channel. We're getting close to the 100,000. We're 8,000 subs away. We're getting there. So you guys enjoy your night, and as always, stay safe, stay warm, and stay woke. Have a good night.